Sword and everything.
Yes, there you have it. Byleth from Fire Emblem Three Houses is joining the battle. Fire Emblem Three Houses was released just last summer, so it's still very new. Even so, you'll soon be able to play as them in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This release is planned for January 28th. You'll have instant access if you have the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighters Pass, and it will also be available for purchase individually. In case you're not familiar with Fire Emblem or Three Houses, I'll explain a few things, so don't worry. First off, what is Fire Emblem? It's really hard to pronounce in Japanese. The producer said it's okay if I just say Fire Emblem. But when writing it, if you don't write Fire Emblem, the Fire Emblem police will come and get you, so please be careful.
He must have tweeted something like that and got
The series' first entry launched in Japan on the Famicom in 1990. You could say it was a pioneer
I actually really like the Fire
genre
Emblem
of
series
tactical role-playing
before it
games.
got super popular.
You might be
with
wondering what
Awakening
makes
on
it particularly tactical.
the 3DS.
Well, it's tactical in that it simulates combat. You can think of it as moving pieces in a board
This
game.
whole 35 thing
Or
is
in
going to
other
be
words,
about
a game in which you advance
Fire
units
Emblem,
across
as
a
if
grid
Smash
and
Bros.
battle.
Isn't already about Fire Emblem.
When we talk about tactical games of that era, there were lots of ones in which you command tanks, aircrafts, and so on. But Fire Emblem was unique because each unit was a specific character, sort of like in role-playing games.
Advance Wars, I think.
Plus, something made it stand out from other Nintendo products. Characters could permanently die. That's pretty direct language though, so perhaps we should just say they're sleeping with the fishes. But really, if a character fell in battle, you'd lose that unit. They'd be gone and you couldn't use them again. Recent entries in the series maintain this concept of permadeath to some degree in classic mode and what have
I
you.
started slightly
But a lot
late,
of games now allow
but if you can see
strategic
behind
withdrawals,
Sakurai,
so to speak.
it's Byleth from Fire Emblem.
In the older games, your
Three
units would
houses.
really be gone,
So-
never to be mentioned again. Scary.
Definitely not, one of the favorites that people
The
were
game's stories are told like
thinking it was
chronicles
gonna
of
be.
war, with increasingly distinct characters and
I'm
engrossing scenarios.
very disappointed, honestly.
Several characters also appear in the Super Smash Bros. Series, and 6 of the 7 can use a counterattack. It's their down special. There's actually a reason for this. When I was considering how to incorporate Fire Emblem fighters into Super Smash Bros. Melee, I thought it might be interesting to reflect the turn-based nature of the
There's no
original
Dante.
game. First comes your
No
opponent's
Dante,
turn.
there's
They
no
attack and
Lloyd,
you counter.
there's no
Next
2B,
comes
which
your
I
turn.
did expect to be in here anyway. There's no Sora from Kingdom Hearts, who honestly, even
now,
though I don't
Fire
really
Emblem
like the
Three
Kingdom Hearts
Houses
series
is
like
the
that,
17th game
I'd
in
have
the
preferred
series.
at least a character from a
People
different
who aren't Japanese in particular
company.
might be thinking, 17 games? There are that many? Well, if you include Fire Emblem Heroes in the remakes, but you don't include the Satellaview game, Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE, and Fire Emblem Warriors, then it comes out to 17 games. Let's try saying them in the Fire Emblem Can You Say It challenge.
This is just padding, like he's just talking about the
give it a
history of
try.
Fire Emblem right now.
暗黒竜と光の剣、外伝紋章の謎
Right, just make a Fire Emblem fighting game.
776
No one would be mad at that. People love the Fire Emblem series. Their movesets, I mean, they're favorite characters. Like, a lot of pros actually use, well, back in the day, tons of pros would use Marth.
There you
He was,
go,
like, fantastic.
17.
But nowadays, I think Chrom is, I think, one of the favorites.
So
among
you
pros.
saw
Like, he's
how I
really
was
strong in the
counting in a
game.
weird way, right? I was counting in binary.
つまりこれが全部
This is 0.
Okay, he's just letting us
Pull
know.
this
how
here
smart
and you
he is
get
right now.
1, and then you get 2, then 2 plus 1 equals 3. So this would be 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
That's
And then you get 16.
That's programming stuff.
Add
Any
one,
programmers in the
17.
chat? Do you count like this?
Awesome, isn't it?
実はこれ
You can actually count up to 31 on one hand.
He's talking about binary counting on his fingers. Like, they
And
don't
if
have
you use
anything to
both
talk
hands,
about.
you can count all the way up to 1023.
畳の数を
That's
数
kind
え
of useful though. I wish I could do that.
If you've given up counting the knots in a tatami mat, you could always give it a go. What is Fire Emblem Three Houses? In Japanese, the male version of the main
I have
character is
that
called
game.
Bereto,
I have
and the
not
female
actually gotten
version is
very
called
far in it.
Beresu. But in English, they share the same name,
I should go
Byleth.
back. But out of
Byleth
spite,
becomes a
I don't
professor
feel like
who ends up leading
because
one
it
of
should not be
3
in this game.
academic houses.
Not in Smash. All
Once
your
you've
brothers
chosen
and
a
sisters
house,
already.
you guide them through their school life, and, well, you end up fighting
You take
other
Tanuki
houses.
Suit Mario over this?
After a certain incident,
Yeah, I'd be
5 years
disappointed by
pass,
another Mario
and you
too,
meet up with your grown-up
honestly.
students to battle against the other houses in their regions. It's a very sad game in which your former allies become enemies, turn hostile, and try to kill you. To understand the concept of Fire Emblem Three Houses, I played an early version of the game before its release. I've done the same thing before, with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, for example.
Okay.
Because I couldn't wait until launch to experience it, or we'd have never made it in time. For that title, I borrowed an early version
So
of the
he's
game
saying
for
this
2
was
days,
planned from
ran around all the
before the
areas,
game came out.
saw the ending, and realized for the first time, I guess we can't really have Breath of the Wild's Princess Zelda as a fighter. I did the same this time, but with there being 3 houses and multiple endings, it was really hard to get a feel for it. And of course, there weren't any walkthroughs I could reference. The game has multiple routes, and the outcome of each is very different.
We know.
Your experience will vary depending on the route you choose, and many of the characters you meet will adopt different roles in the story. I'll try to avoid spoilers when I'm talking about the fighter. I hope
If you guys in the
understand.
chat can hear me, who did you want?
Before my
Who were you hoping to
demonstration,
see
I
and
should
then
point out
was
that when I
let
did the
down
Terry
by-
Bogard showcase video, I mentioned that it was
Take a
recorded a
final
month
from Breath of the
in
Wild over
advance.
this. I
But
wouldn't
this
be mad
time,
at that.
we have to account for the holidays and such, so we're filming
giant
2 months in advance of this video's release.
Centaur?
Right now, it's actually November.
Oh, seriously?
Therefore, some of what I'm about to show you might differ a bit from the finished version.
That's kind of crazy.
As
So
always,
this whole thing
I'm using
was
a
shot
special
in November,
in-game
and
camera
we're just
and
now
such
getting
for
to watch it.
demonstration purposes.
Geralt? That wouldn't have been a bad idea, honestly.
Here I go.
I'm quieter than the video. I can fix that.
So this is our new fighter, Byleth.
Is that better? Are you able to hear me?
Sadly, they're lacking in mobility. It's maybe a bit better than Robin's, but that's about all you can say for them. Throws are
Why
not their
doesn't the
strong
girl
point
Byleth
either.
wear
Their
pants?
grab lacks range. But actually, you could say that they're distance demon. The hero's relic they use changes depending on the direction you input with the stick. Each of the hero's relics is a weapon that appears in Fire Emblem Three Houses. They look like bones, and there's a reason for that. First, let's talk about the weapon Byleth uses for upward inputs, the Sword of the Creator.
The
The
character
Sword
model
of the
looks a
Creator
little
here is
rough. I'm
Byleth's
guessing this was,
default
like,
weapon.
early.
They use it for flurry attacks and tilt attacks, such as
nice.
down tilt attacks, where it takes the form of a whip.
It's like Ivy from Soul Calibur.
They also use the sword for dash attacks and other moves. For their up smash attack, they'll whip the sword upward to launch enemies in the air.
It's like a combination of
For their up air attack, they'll wave the whip sword
it's
overhead.
like the Belmonts.
The hit detection for this attack lasts for a relatively long time. The up special move is really something. The sword extends like this, allowing you to do things like this.
Goku, I never want to see Goku in Smash.
It was pretty terrifying how I knocked him into the air with that attack. And in addition,
Oh, that's a dope spike
you
though.
can do awful things like this.
That is a really dope spike.
That
you can
said,
grab
you'll
someone
launch
above
opponents
you and
upward
then
until
jump
their
off of
damage
them while
reaches a
sending them
certain
downwards.
percentage. Exceed that percentage and you'll need to be careful. You may find it helpful to mid-air dodge.
And of course,
I've already
it has
shown
a
this, but you
tether.
can also use it to latch onto edges. So that's the up special. Now, for the sideways inputs. This is Erdvar, the same name as the weapon from Celtic mythology. First, we'll go through the forward and back air attacks.
No one
As you
asked
can
for
see,
this.
they have a long reach.
Absolutely not.
Like
I'm
so.
pretty sure the entire world is very disappointed right now.
Marth's air attack keeps opponents in check too, right? If Byleth does the same thing, you'd win out, so you should be able to beat it.
So it has more range
Next,
than
the
Mars
side smash attack.
up there. I mean,
This also has a long range. It'll connect even from here.
Oh man, yeah, he's definitely ranged.
Also, if you add an upward tilt, it will be stronger.
That's interesting.
And if you've knocked an opponent down,
like a headshot.
the side attack won't hit unless you add a downward tilt to aim for them.
And you can scrape folks off the floor.
By the way, the tip of the lance is more powerful.
And he has
The shaft part is weaker, so it's not suited to close combat.
I mean,
It
so
won't
far the
deal much
character
damage, and it
himself
won't launch opponents
seems
far.
cool. Like the fighting style of him seems cool.
That's why, as a rule, you want to hit with the blade part aimed upward, or downward in this case. Next, the side special move.
And low-key, they're showing off the new stage too. This is like the front of
Byleth will simply swing the lance like this, but again, it has excellent reach. For example, even when your opponent is at this distance, it'll still hit.
Dang.
Actually, you can do a smash attack to charge forward a little, like this.
Is there any other smash attack other than Mega Man's projectile
But as
thing
you'd
that has that
expect,
much
it can
range?
be easily shielded, so be careful. Use it in midair and you'll carve up a large area.
Wow.
Returning to the side air attacks from earlier, they have great horizontal reach, but they lack verticality. So this
Yeah, I'm still mad
complements it
about
well, although you'll be vulnerable when you
Fire
land.
Emblem love. They really should just get a spin
Now,
game.
for the downward inputs.
Make it
For these, Byleth will use an axe called Emir.
smash style side.
It's named after a weapon
side
that
perspective
appears in
fighting game.
Ugaritic myth. First, the down air attack. It really is strong.
I'm assuming that was like
You can try for a meteor effect with this attack. Next is the down smash attack. A heavy swing of the axe back and forth. As you can see, it has a great deal of launch power. And for the down special, Byleth channels all their energy into a devastating strike. It's a bold move, similar to the Falcon Punch, but here's what makes it different. When readying the move, there's a super armor effect, which allows you to withstand an attack. Just so you know, if you execute a Falcon Punch at about the same time, it plays out like this.
that's messed up.
It's
They
a bit
kinda
slower
talking
than the
dirty.
Falcon Punch, but due to the super armor effect, you have the advantage. Unless you get grabbed. Another notable aspect is that it lets you pass through platforms. While you're charging up, you can breeze
you can
past
drop
platforms
through,
like
okay.
this to reach a lower area. It won't let you jump, but you could use it as a surprise attack.
Yeah, that'll actually definitely.
Also,
catch
you can turn around during the move.
again with that.
The swing takes a while, so if an opponent runs behind you during the move, you can quickly change direction.
They give that to a lot of people.
Even though it can be hard to land a hit with this move, it can be really effective when used against a group of opponents. Plus, even
So
if
he
you
doesn't
fail to
have a
land a
counter,
direct
it
hit,
seems like.
any opponents on the ground nearby will still be launched a little.
Oh, it has it disjointed like that.
It's as if the quaking of the ground launches them. By the way, earlier I talked a little bit about the other Fire Emblem characters' moves. I don't recommend using this down special against fighters from the Fire Emblem series, because you'll just get loads of counters. It hits with that much power in a single attack. Counters can actually multiply the power of blocked attacks, and using easily anticipated attacks like this could just get you hit
he was
by
at
counter
0.
after counter.
That's how strong that is.
Next,
is that
we
if
have the
countered,
neutral
it'll kill at
The bow you
0%.
use is called Fail Not, which shares its name with the bow from the Knights of the Round Table. It only appears in a few neutral moves. You've got the neutral air attack. This attack is similar to a move of Pit's and other fighters like it. It lets you spin the weapon around. It's also easy to create certain combos with it. And with the neutral special, you'll let loose an arrow. It seems pretty straightforward, right? But there are a few noteworthy aspects to this bow. First, the biggest difference between this bow and Link's is that once you enter the command, you can keep charging until it's ready. You can't release it partway through the charge, so when it does fire, the arrow travels at high speed.
So
It's
you
also
can't-
very
can't let it
powerful.
go early.
That said, you can still cancel out of the stance using the shield button.
Oh, that's...
You can
I
also
don't think
change
anybody
direction
can do
while
that.
in the stance.
Or that.
It works up until this point, but if you keep holding the button, you'll unleash
Oh,
a
wait.
powerful arrow that looks like a beam of light.
Okay, so it has like a secondary
You can perform
charge.
this move by keeping the button held down. You charge up power like so, charge a bit more, and then fire.
That's pretty dope.
But again, you'll need to take care when using this move. For one, when you've powered up the move to its max, there's no way to cancel out of it. Not even with the shield button. In other words, you're committed to firing it.
So you can really fake people out by starting
So you
up.
see, a situation like this is pretty terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty easy to counter.
Once you've entered the stance, you won't be able to do
You
anything,
can't do anything, yeah.
which means it's quite the risky attack to use against fighters who have a move with a reflector effect. But you could always just aim into the fray, as it is, after all, a long-range move, letting you deal a sudden blow to opponents. So you need to think carefully when using this projectile weapon. Byleth's final smash is called Progenitor God Ruptured Heaven. In the original game, there's a move called Ruptured Heaven. This is an enhanced version.
Progenitor God Ruptured Heaven. Anime title for
As you can
That was
see,
also kinda
you team
underwhelming.
up with the mysterious Sothis and launch an attack together.
ソティスが誰であるのか何なのかというのは原作で確認してみていただければと思います。
Now, let's talk about the color variations. It's set up so that the default and odd-numbered color variations are male, while the even-numbered ones are female. However, the third, fourth, and fifth colors are, as you can see, reminiscent of the house
Three
themes.
houses, that's cool.
Those of you who played the original game will of course understand what I'm referring to.
That's cool. I
The
like that.
sixth color is based on Sothis, who you just saw earlier. And the seventh and eighth variations have a different hair color, which is based on something that occurs in the course of the original game's story. Didn't we see this variation in the final smash?
Yeah, I didn't get to the end of the game, so I don't know. Yeah, Kev says it seems like he had a lot of
Next,
high-risk
I'll
moves.
introduce the stage.
Yeah, like a lot of
For this
hard
one, we
commitments.
of course tried to recreate the place where you spend most of the game, Garreg Mach Monastery. This is how Garreg Mach Monastery is laid out in the original game. From these, we chose to have it cycle through the marketplace, reception hall, bridge, and cathedral all in one stage.
How does that work?
It's the type of stage that rotates through different areas, such as these four. Let me introduce each of the guests that appear in these four areas. The first area is the marketplace. I think this is where a lot of people come to do their shopping. The guests that appear here are students of the Blue Lion's house, Dimitri,
I'm sure these
Dedu,
character
and
models look
Ingrid.
better.
Not Dimitri,
Like when the game gets
Dudu,
released, they're not
or
gonna look
Ingrid.
this
Their names
blocky.
are a bit difficult to say.
He said this was all the way back
They're
in
largely
November.
from the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. Since it's a
thanks for that
kingdom,
host.
that means they have a monarchy. For that reason, I guess you could say Dimitri is the future king. He had quite a difficult life and may or may not end up with just one eye. He's an unfortunate one, that one. There are vendors on either side. In the original game, these are important booths where you buy all sorts of things, but here you can break them, you see. If you do break them, the stage will expand to the left and right. I wonder where people will buy their supplies now. And in the background, you can see the gatekeeper. You often pass through this area in Fire Emblem 3 houses, and you end up talking to him a lot. Moving through these areas is possible thanks to this mysterious platform. Just when it seems like you've come to a stop,
Oh, this is really just teleporting you.
you'll come crashing back down, be broken through the ceiling and slammed into the building. And the guests in the reception hall are Edelgard, Dorothea, and Petra of the Black Eagles. Take note, it's not spelled Edelgard. They're from the Adressian Empire, and as such, they embrace their military might.
I don't think
Edelgard is one of the characters
because I
who's
didn't
central
go
to the
with the
conflict.
Black Eagles. I went with the Blue Lions.
Depending on the path you take,
I
she'll
didn't
go
get to
through
the point
some
where I started
terrible
drafting
ordeals.
characters. I don't have any of them on my team.
You'll notice there are prominent chandeliers above the stage.
And of course,
It's possible to knock them down. However, Byleth can't actually reach it, even though it's their stage. You can reach it with other fighters, though. So, it's nice if you can work your way up there by getting lucky and being launched up, or perhaps by using another fighter as a stepping stone. There we go, I made it. And you can knock it down. Also, you can break this table. Like so. Just like the sign that reads
cool that they
Furin Kaza
recreated this
in the
space. It's
Suzaku
really not
Castle
that
stage,
interesting.
it can break if you launch the opponent into it at close range.
And it's like Terry stage, as in it's not.
Next up, the bridge.
Platform, it's
The
just
camera
around.
rotates 90 degrees, creating this long area.
Off to the side. Without, I
It's
guess,
very
the
wide
wall.
indeed. It's similar to the Bridge of Elden stage. The guests are from the Golden Deer, Claude, Hilda, and Lawrence. They belong to the Leicester Alliance.
These characters, like, they're.
Because it's an alliance of
textures,
many
they're
noble
so
families, you could say
muddy.
that they have a wide assortment of
There's
members.
no way they'll look like
And
this in
Claude
Final
is the
Fantasy.
sharpest of the bunch.
So I just want to keep reiterating that.
Incidentally,
that's
both
probably
Claude
not
and
how they'll
Hilda
look.
are the
They
names
actually
of
look kinda
characters
bad
that
right
appear
now.
in Genealogy of the Holy War, the 4th title in the Fire Emblem series. I guess once you've reached the 17th game and are creating 40 characters for each new entry, you're bound to get a bit of name overlap. The naming process must be tough. Hey, it looks like the Pegasus Knight is busy training. As for the bridge's design, it's just a long pathway, plain and simple. You can expect plenty of blows to be exchanged at the edges of the screen. You could also say it's a place where the fail knot really shines, and in this sense, I think it suits the Golden Deer perfectly.
I kind of like that bow attack. As risky as it is. I mean, how many people?
The last area
how many
is the
people are-
cathedral.
I mean, I know
Only
we
with
just
some
pointed in
platforms
the
you
actual
can pass
character,
through.
but who's still kind of hyped
The guests
to
appearing
play
in the
with the
cathedral
moveset.
are Seteth, Flame, and
I actually
Rhea.
kind of like.
There's Seteth, who appears to have an
I
extremely
like their
strong
move.
bond with his sister,
Their move
Flame. She seems to be under the protection of him and Rhea, who you can see fighting during the opening of Fire Emblem Three Houses. All three have character quirks related to their true identities. I feel that Flame might be saying shush at this point, so I'll leave it at that. This is a simple area of the stage. All it has are these platforms. Being the last area, it may be a place where some intense battles will be waged. It'll cycle through each location in about 2.5 minutes. Okay, today we'll have a tag team battle in Squad Strike with the DLC team pitted against Fire Emblem protagonists from throughout the ages. That'll give us precisely 5 players per side. Alright, here we go, Joker. Joker! And Hero!
He's just murdering everybody else.
Gee, we really made a lot, huh? Banjo! By now, I think you know what I'm doing. But basically, I'm trying to defeat all 5 opponents with just the Professor here. But as expected, it's going to be a pretty tough battle, so I'm using anything I can get my hands on.
You put on items for cheats.
It's not going to land that easily. Uh-oh, this is bad. Bennigan's.
Who's your money on? You think Sakurai's gonna
I better keep my distance.
defeat his entire Fire Emblem roster with this new Fire Emblem character?
I'll use this chance to attack. Got him.
Oh man,
That's
with the
scary.
help of items.
He's invincible for a moment here. Lots of explosives. Ouch.
Yeah, I can heavy boy.
He perfect shielded that, huh? Good
He
one.
can accidentally kill you. Sakurai's already at.
If I do this, like this, or like so. No anti-air, huh? There, the soccer ball connected.
He's
Good,
legit just
there's Mom.
dominating.
You're in a good spot, Mom.
Hey, look at this.
Ah, I shouldn't have taken that. Gardevoir. Well, I guess no one uses projectiles. At this point, it doesn't matter if Gardevoir's there or not. I feel like the enemy might get this Smash Ball.
Oh,
See? They got it. But I mustn't give up.
Oh, did he just break his shield?
I can't waste this chance.
Wow.
There's another Smash Ball.
This
Yes,
seems very
got it.
scripted. To end the last
Now.
game with the smash attack.
What are you charging up for?
Yeah, that wasn't even enough.
There's still more. Whack.
Oh, nice. That's really
Go
cool.
on.
That's going to be
You can take
exciting
the
to see
hammer,
people land
but
that
it's mine.
up B.
Although I'm scared I might get hit with a counter in this state. I hit him.
That was sad to watch.
I was trying to fight using Byleth's abilities alone, but what matters is that I won. Good game.
Ooh.
It can be fun to play like this, especially in tag team, so I think it's a good idea to try imposing different types of challenges on yourself.
From
The end.
underwhelming character reveal. I'm hoping that we'll because he's gonna go through just more Fire Emblem stuff.
Now, about the
I'm
additional
hoping
music.
that at the very end,
Since
we'll
it's
get a
from the
tease
Fire
about
Emblem
what's coming
series,
next.
we'll be
It's supposed
adding
to be
each of the new
season
tracks to all the
2
Fire Emblem
Fighter Pass
stages.
or whatnot, right? So like
There are
whole other
already
set
a lot of
five
Fire Emblem
characters.
tracks in the game.
So
Our
there's still
selection
lots
this
of
time
chances
has
for
been
some of
made
the
taking
stuff
those
that
existing
people have been
tracks
hoping
into
for
consideration.
to actually make it into the
11
game.
songs are being added.
But I just really want to see something
This includes an arrangement of the main theme in both Japanese and
at the
English.
very least.
I hope you'll enjoy these as well.
There's already like a ton of Fire Emblem music in this game. And
We're also adding in a new spirit board. It includes the house leaders among some of the other popular characters. Sothis is Legend class. Also, there's a new classic mode route, a Heroic Legacy, which is designed to let you enjoy classic Fire Emblem stages from throughout the series' history. The final battle
Smash
is
really
against
just the
Master Hand and
celebration
Crazy
of
Hand,
video games,
but you'll find that something pretty
I know
amusing
sometimes we forget
happens,
that
so
'cause
look
we
forward
tend
to that.
Just play it in the competitive fashion.
Now for
But-
the Mii Fighter costumes. Please take a
Just
look.
going through all the different game modes and story modes and all this stuff. Like you really just like a video game lover. Oh, that's cool. See, why couldn't we get the actual assassin from Assassin's Creed, like as a DLC fighter? I'd have been so hyped for that. They just put his costume in. I don't want anything to do with rabbits. These characters are not funny. But clearly, there's Ubisoft love, and they did the Kingdom Battle game for Nintendo. I love Mega Man X. I wanted regular Mega Man in this game to beat the X version, so it's cool that they at least put the X suit for the Mii, but Mii's are ugly. I don't think they're usable. Cuphead's getting some costumes. Oh man, okay. I got confused. I thought they were putting a real fighter. And he's got a finger gun animation, but it's just a gunner costume. That's dope. Those are some dope costumes, honestly. I'm more hyped for the costumes than the actual character. I'm gonna pay money for the Mega Man costume at least. At very least. I love Mega Man X. And I struggle to play with regular Mega Man.
This time, we're releasing a Cuphead costume. And for those of you who purchased the Cuphead costume, an additional song will be added. It's called Floral Fury, and it's the theme that plays when fighting Cagney Carnation.
That's cool.
I hope you enjoy these as well. After purchasing a costume, I recommend using the sharing feature. If someone has created a Mii Fighter, you can play using the costume it's wearing immediately after you download it.
Oh, is that new?
And now, onto the amiibo.
I definitely don't do that. Oh yeah, I heard that they got new amiibos out.
The color palette for Dark Samus looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Those actually look really
Dark Samus and Richter are planned for release on Friday, January 17th.
Oh, that's tomorrow.
And now, with the addition of Byleth, the Fighter's Pass is finally complete. The lineup was Joker, Hero, Banjo and Kazooie, Terry Bogard, and Byleth. From more than 70 fighters, only 5 have been added. But I must say, this game has always been an exceptional experience. And since the roster was already so large to begin with, right from the start, we intended to make the most out of the new gameplay mechanics and so on. There really were a lot of new mechanics, weren't there?
Yeah, he has been good.
When we add a new fighter, we don't simply make their attacks or their movements a little different. Instead, we try to offer you a whole new style of play. As I stated, we'll continue to release more DLC fighters down the line. I had thought that 1 or 2 might suffice, but, well, have a look.
Okay, what are we looking at? We knew this much already. Wait a second. Challenger packs. Okay. Jeez, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Looks like there'll
6.
be one more fighter than last time.
Wow.
For this reason, we will be releasing the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighters Pass Volume 2. It will be available for pre-purchase on the date shown, so please keep an eye out. And now that it's official, we intend to move ahead with development. Of course, like last time, the contents will remain unknown for now, and I'm personally very sorry that we have to release Fighters Pass Volume 2 when the details have yet to be revealed.
So we're not going to get a tease?
Like last time, I'd be very grateful if, despite that, you would understand why and purchase it.
I mean,
Furthermore, the new editions have already been decided. Even if I receive many requests regarding potential candidates on Twitter, I'm afraid it would be very hard to consider them. But I still hope you'll look forward to it.
You know we will.
We're also including a bonus with Fighters Pass Volume 2. Last time, it was a Rex costume. But this time, here's what we have.
What is this bonus? Oh, nice.
It's a Mii Fighter costume for Mii Sword Fighter, the ancient soldier gear from The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This will not be for sale individually, so it can only be acquired as part of Fighters Pass Volume 2.
I mean, I won't use that, but it's neat. Come on, give me the big hype. Give me.
It's been reported that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the highest-selling fighting game in the world.
It even won Best Fighting
Personally,
Game
I don't know if it counts as simply a fighting game, but I guess it's seen as a fighting game around the world. Seems like Street Fighter 2 was in the lead for a while, but now Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has surpassed it in total sales.
That's very impressive.
However, I'm not sure if this is accurate. There
Yeah, I
were
don't use
5
all the
versions
characters
of
either,
Street
but
Fighter
I
2,
do at
or
least
6 to
want
7 if you
to
really
play
want
my
to
game.
get into the weeds. Plus, there's the arcade versions and the 25 ports to other systems, so I don't know if that's been accounted for. Also, I don't know if that really qualifies as one game. It's up for discussion. So, who knows? But when it comes to a single piece of software, it seems like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is number 1. Although, I still don't know if it can really be called just a fighting game. I feel like it's become more than a fighting game, some sort of celebration of gaming or something else entirely.
Yeah, it's kind of just an homage to just games, period.
Also, I feel a deep attachment to the 5 DLC fighters. The first Fighters Pass just wrapped up,
Humble brag, Sakurai.
but it was decided that there will be more DLC. Which means
He said it
no
was
breaks for me.
decided, as in other people.
I
like
plan
maybe
to
his
keep working
superiors were
hard,
like, hey,
so I hope you can
keep
continue
doing
to
this.
support us.
And it wasn't necessarily his
That's
idea.
it. Thank you.
Come on, no tease, no tease. Oh boy. All right. Overall, very disappointing direct. Did not want another Fire Emblem character. Like, of all things people did not want, another Fire Emblem character was probably the top of that list. So for it to really just be another Fire Emblem character, he already knew. Like, he said, I hope you won't be disappointed, because he already knew people were going to be disappointed. But with that being said, it is a new fighter in Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is an amazing game. The moveset looks great. I'm going to try the character out. I'll purchase it. I'll see what it's all about. So, with that, thanks everybody who tuned in for this live reaction to the news. I hope that if you're in the area, you're also planning to come to the Realms Smash at the Realm tournament. It's a singles tournament in Smash Bros. Ultimate, and it's this Saturday. So definitely come through. There's a $50 pot bonus for every 10 people who sign up. So if you get, a bunch of friends, even if they're not great, if you're great, you get to the winner's side, basically with the amount of extra money that's thrown in for every 10 people, $50 here, $100, $150, you can pay all them back their money and then still have come up. So if it's a gamble you're willing to take because you're that good, definitely come through. Like, our competition last go round was really, really fierce. You can check out the Realms YouTube to basically see highlights from it, or watch the entire thing because that's all up there. But I'm going to just leave you guys now with the promo video for the next one, and then that's going to be it for this stream. So definitely, thanks again. Hope to see you guys on Saturday for Smash at the Realm 3. Peace.